Good morning. Welcome to practice. We're going to begin standing with the feet under the hip width and parallel, so your legs are parallel. Hands on the belly and lengthen your spine, relax your shoulders, close your eyes. And simply noticing the breath. Start to let the body, the whole body, sway around the feet. If you had a pencil at the top of your head, you'll be drawing a circle in the air. It has to be a really big movement. We're looking to tune into the transfer of weight, pressure in the feet, feeling the reaction of the feet. As the center of gravity moves away from center or around center. In the other direction. Feeling the reaction of the feet. Find your center again. Feel the breath. Good, and then gently opening your eyes and release your hands. I'm going to bring the right foot forward and keep the ball of the foot on the floor and just make a nice big circle with your knee. And really get into the movement in the ankle. Good. And you're going to start to let your upper body be a counterbalance, kind of rhythmic counterbalance to that movement. You'll start to feel the reaction in the leg, but also in the core of the body. And then the other direction. Feeling the flow of the breath, the flow of that energetic reaction in the body. Nice. Feet under the hip. And then left foot forward, up onto the ball of the foot. We keep the ball of the foot on the floor and start to make these little circles. Get bigger and bigger if you like, of the knee around the foot. And then tune into the upper body being a counterbalance to that movement. And you feel the reaction in the core of the body. It's not just front and back, but also the side, other direction. So there's a natural counterbalance. Good, and back to center. Now we're going to try 2 feet together, and it's pretty tricky. So you could hold onto a chair, but lift up onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees a little. Good, and we're going to try and take the knees around the feet and let your upper body be the counterbalance. Now, if you're really having trouble, do 1 foot at a time, like we were just doing. Ah. And then back in the other direction. pretty hard to stay up on your toes, but just feeling all that lovely reaction. the difficulty. Stay tuned into the breath. Nice work. And then release. So the legs should feel pretty enlivened. All right, we're going to bring the hands in front of the heart and come into Utkatasana, powerful pose. So your feet are hip width parallel, legs are parallel. Sit your sit bones back towards the heels. Press the hands and draw the shoulder blades down. Close your eyes for a moment and find the breath. Find the core of the body. The core, the front, the muscles in the front of the abdomen, the sides of the waist, really supporting your spine to feel healthy here. Good, and we're going to lift up onto our tiptoes. I opened my eyes. It's easier to balance with the eyes open. Good, and then release and straighten your legs. Nice work. Let's bring the arms up by the ears this time. Feel the sides of the waist lengthen, lifting the ribs. Utkatasana. Powerful pose. We'll keep the feet on the floor to start with. Find that strong core of the body. All those subtle reactions to keep you centered. And now try lifting up onto the tiptoes, or all the balls of the feet, I should say. Keep the legs parallel. Good, and straighten your legs and release. Nice. Now, we're going to do a little bit of our kneeling and standing. You might need a blanket to put your knees onto. And using a chair here can be useful. So what we want to do, though, is use the feet's capacity to get the knees moving towards the floor. Now, you might not be able to take the knees all the way to the floor, but try that rocking right onto the front of the balls of the feet and then bringing the knees back up where you could stand up. Okay, if you can take your knees to the floor, you can flatten your feet and make a little back bend. Let's remind yourself of that shape. Good, and then tucking the toes under. Now we try to bring the body weight back over the heels to lift up. So you don't necessarily have to use the chair, but it's there. All right, so we're either rocking the knees forward and back, keeping the legs parallel, or kneeling all the way down, reminding ourselves of a little back bend. And to lift up, try and get your heels evenly, move your legs. Try not to do dominant side first. And lifting up, and we'll do one more. And all back. Good, heels to the floor. And lifting up. Ooh, nice work. All right, no blanket, no chair now, unless you really find a chair useful, stepping forward and back. Let's come to the front of the mat. Tadasana. Finding your breath. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, make your back bend shape, floating forward into Uttanasana. So feel the back bend shape for the spine, but also feel the stretch through the legs here. And enjoying connecting to the breath. Notice the feeling of that connection. See if that helps calm the mind and the intention. Good. Now you can make that a little bit stronger if you like. You can put your hands down on the floor, walk your hands further forward, but do try and keep your back bend shape. If you find that you're stretching your lower back rather than your leg, lift the hands up on the legs a little, make the back bend again, and tip the body weight forward. Straight leg. Good, and then we'll bend the knee and inhale and come up and looking and tadasana. Good. Inhale, arms up, and uttanasana. Check in. How does the lower back feel? See if you can make a back bend shape. Maybe it's impossible for the bones of your spine there to sink down, but just feeling a little more relaxed in your lower back. Good. But you can really stretch your legs here. So lift the kneecap, lift the sit bone, bring the body weight forward a little. Good. We're going to step the left foot back into a long lunge position. Great. Gently lower your left knee to the floor. Let your foot relax there. Good. We're going to start to sink the hips forward. Lift the breastbone. Try and find your back bend shape. Noticing where the body resists that movement. And finding your connection to the breath. Good. And then tuck the toes under of the left foot. Lift up, step forward, and balance on the right foot. See how you go. Trying to make one smooth movement or small movements along the way. Good. Finding your balance, challenge. And we're going to bend a little the standing leg. And we're going to try and lift the heel up off the floor. So it's extra tricky. Oh, you can go up and down, but I can't hold it. Good. And then release that side. And then inhale. And arms up, Urdhva Hastasana, Uttanasana. Keeping a relaxed feeling to the spine. Nice stretch in your leg. Great big step back with the right foot. So long, long lunge. Gently take the right knee to the floor, relax the back foot. Ease the hips forward. Lift the chest. Calmly connected to the breath. Good. Lift up so you can tuck your back toes under again. And lift up and step forward. See if you can make a nice smooth movement. Take your balance challenge. You know what's coming on this side, so you might opt for a slightly easier one. All right, bend your left knee a little. And we're going to try and lift the heel up off the floor. Good. And then release that side. Oh, pretty tricky. Inhale, up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Let's relax back. Okay, step the left foot back for Trikonasana. So your left inner arch lines up with the right heel. And let's lift the torso up, even if it's all the way up, but until your left hip lines up in a plane with the feet. So there was a vertical plane straight up from the feet. The hip fits into that. Good, strong leg. Nice. All right, and then let's start to lengthen both sides of the spine, rolling the left ribs back. Take the left arm up, right palm down. Explore your reaching. Feeling the agility of your feet, the reaction, strong legs, and that ability to lengthen the spine to find a healthier, more comfortable shape there. Use the core of the body and connect to your breath. Good. Let's windmill the left arm forward to the front of the mat so that you can step forward, lift up, and balance. Taking a balance hold. Good. Let's try bending the right knee again and see how you go lifting up onto the ball of the foot. Even if we're just imagining that movement today. Whoa. See if the weight goes to the outside or the inside. Try and get it really nice and even across the ball of the foot. Beautiful. And then release that side. So strengthening for ankles. Inhale, arms up. And as you exhale, Uttanasana. Beautiful. Feeling relaxed spine. Stretching your leg. Okay, the right foot is going to go back for Trikonasana. So you line up the center of the right foot in an arch with the left heel. Good. And feel the reaction of the feet as you find your balance. Lift up and keep lifting until you get your right hip in the same vertical plane as the feet. Good. And then start to lengthen your left waist out and over the left thigh. We'll take the right hip back, the right rib back, take the right arm up. Breathing deeply. Lift the kneecap, quadriceps. And reaching. Good. Swing the right arm to the front of the mat. We're going to step forward, lift up, balance onto the left leg. Keep your balance hold. Bend your left leg a little and lifting up onto the ball of the foot. Try to get a nice even weight across the ball of the foot. Great work. And release. And I'm guessing that ease in the spine goes out the window because we're trying something new. That's pretty difficult. So let's stretch the spine out now. We're going to turn to the side of the mat. Step the feet out nice and wide. Turn the toes in. We're going to feel strong in the legs here. If it feels better to have them a little bit bent, then do that. Good. Let's make a back bend shape. And from the hip crease, fold the upper body forward. Good. Stretch your arms out as far as they'll go so the sides of the waist are lengthening. The back is lengthening. If you feel like you're not getting enough stretch, take your feet a little bit wider. Press a little more into the outside edges of the feet. Lift the inner arches of the feet. Lift the kneecaps, the quadriceps, the sit bones. Keep lengthening the spine. Finding your connection to your breath. Beautiful. Walk the hands back and turn the toes out or the heels in. If that makes sense. And drop your hips. Your hands are still down on the floor. The hips are dropping down. Good. And look forward so that you feel that back bend in your upper back. The hips are dropping down, and we're going to lift up onto the balls of the feet. Okay, now imagine you could stand up and keep your heels off the floor. But if you need to put your heels back down on the floor, then do that, of course. Otherwise, see if you can keep the hips down, keep the heels lifting, and lift the torso. Ooh. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Lifting the pelvic floor, lower front abdomen, draw the shoulder blades down, and release your heels. Whoa, good work. We're going to jump or wiggle or however you want to get your feet back underneath your hips. Tadasana. Roll the upper arms out, arms in. Kneecap, quadriceps. The heart shining outward. Beautiful. We're going to take a seat. You might be improving your sitting without using your hand, or use your wisdom if you still have that little way to go at the end. It's a bit of a fall. Use your hands to help you. And we'll sit up on the blanket. Both legs down in front. Sit right at the front edge of your blanket. So the sit bones are just supported on the front edge, and it helps to tip the pelvis forward. We're going to bend in the left leg. And hold your left knee with your right hand and turn to the left side. Feel the sole of the left foot on the floor, each of the toes, back of the right leg, the sit bone. And then feel yourself lifting and lengthening the spine and turning to your left side. If you can put the crook of the right elbow in front of the left knee, do that. Or even the elbow on the outside of the left knee. Might need to lean back, make a little bit more room for your tummy and your diaphragm. Shoulder blades drawing down. Enjoying each breath. Noticing if you really connect to that exhalation, how you can turn further. Nice. There's another variation. So turn back to the front. And what we're going to do is face forward. Lift up your left arm now. So your left leg is bent. Lift up your left arm. And reach yourself forward towards the little toe side of that front foot. You might be able to hold your leg or hold your foot. And ease the spine nice and long, not overdoing it in the lower back. So try to keep the skin relaxed. Fine. But just reaching as far as you can. Now, it depends on how far your upper body is comfortably reached forward as to what you do with your left arm. So that might be enough, and you try to hold your leg or hold your foot. Or you might be able to wrap your left arm in front of your left leg and hold onto your thigh there. And some might have long enough arms to reach the right arm back behind and hold the hands behind. Good, and then we're going to release. Nice work. Let that leg lengthen out. And then the right leg. Feel the right foot on the floor. Toes, the sole of the foot, the back of the left leg. Feel how you can lengthen your spine. How your body can react to that stimulus of easing the skin of the back, finding more space for the chest. Good. And then turning to your right, crook of the left elbow in front of the knee, if you can reach that. Otherwise, just keep holding with your hand. Or maybe even the elbow on the outside of the thigh. I have to lean back a little and make more room for my tummy to be comfortable, for the diaphragm to be able to move. We turn to the right. So every part of the body was aware. Sole of the right foot, the toes of the left foot, the spine, the ribs, top of the head, whole body aware. Beautiful. And then releasing from that Marityasana. And then face front with your torso, keep your right leg bent, and reach up the right ribs and the right arm by the right ear. Good. And then we're going to reach that hand towards the little toe side of the leg. In your reaching, we're trying to feel ease for the spine. It doesn't matter if you don't reach your foot, or where you reach to is unimportant, but how you reach, how that feels, very, very important. How does that feel in your back? Good. Now, depending on how far you have been able to move your torso, keeping your spine at ease means you might be just holding with your hands at the front, reach forward, or you can bring your right shoulder in front of your right chin and reach your left arm behind and behind your arms if your arms are long enough. How does the spine feel? Are you reaching the bones of the spine forward? Really reaction of the body, the flow of the breath. Good, and then we'll release from there. Strong stuff. Marichyasana. Soles of the feet together. We're going to balance onto the sit bones, so the feet are going to lift up. So see if you can be holding somehow your knees or your ankles or your toes. Does that movement push your lower back out behind? So remember your core and find the most comfortable lengthening for your lower back. Even a little bit of a back bend for your upper back, so your chest feels spacious. If you're not reaching your feet, you might be holding your knees. Lift the pelvic floor. Good, and we might bring a little movement into this. So let's tip the legs to face left. So you're lifting your right knee. You're going to lean your torso over to the right. Just going to keep changing from side to side a little. So you lift your left knee and lean over to the left. Guess we're trying to bring our knee and shoulder towards each other. So you have to react to balance the core, feeling that subtle shift of weight. Nice work. And releasing. There's a nice variation of kneeling. If you have trouble with kneeling, for stretching your feet, and it's this. So we're going to keep the feet quite close into the sit bones and legs parallel. And just lean back on your hands, not too far back behind you. Good. Lift up onto the balls of the feet so you lift your hips off the floor. And then just rock back and forward, stretching the toes. And you'll stretch the front of the ankles. The front of the ankles that we're trying to stretch in the kneeling position. We get a toe stretch here as well, though. Good. All right. Now, an alternative. Either kneeling, and you're going to kneel so that your feet are hip width parallel, and put the blanket in underneath your sit bone. Good. And if that's uncomfortable, sit with your feet in front up onto your blanket, and you can take whatever is the most comfortable position for your leg, cross-legged or maybe semi-wide leg. All right. And whichever position, we're going to try and make that back bend. So reach back and put your hands on the floor behind your hip. We're going to try and lie back a little further from here. So keep lifting the breastbone. The idea is to make a back bend, a back arch. And if you can take your hands back further, then do that. Maybe you're in the kneeling position and it won't hurt your back to bring your elbows to the floor. If that hurts your lower back, don't do it too far. Come back to hands supporting. We'll try to keep the legs, the thighs parallel to each other. When we're really tight in the hip stabilizers here on the outside of the hip, the knees go out to the side. So try to keep them parallel. Good. Lifting the breastbone, lifting your middle spine between the shoulder blades. Good. And then releasing. And we're going to release our legs. Great. I'm going to use the equipment to make it just a little support for that back bend shape. Take your blanket. You could roll it. If you've got a softer, this is quite a hard blanket. If you've got a soft blanket, make a little roll just so you can get this nice feeling. I'm going to put that parallel to the long edge of the mat and locate the front little bump of the blanket and lay down so that that's underneath your shoulder blade, and it'll be sitting between the shoulder blades. If you find the bump of the blanket under you and locate with your front hand the called the xiphoid process. It's a little bone at the bottom of the breastbone. So it's where the front ribs, they come up and make a triangle. There's a little bone in there. So that lump of the blanket feels like it's under that bone. Good. Put the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. You can feel free to wiggle around and adjust where that blanket is under the spine. And then just give the weight of your body, the curves of your spine to that support. I need to hold. Just letting go. If it feels like you're really straining to reach your head back onto your blanket, you can always tuck the head part of that blanket under to make a higher support. You want the front and back of your neck to feel fairly even in length. Good, and then bringing your knees together, rolling off to your right, and just take the blanket out. You're going to lay back onto the mat and hug your knees into your chest, rocking a little from side to side. Just hold your knees there and observe your breathing, the curves of your spine. With the knees bent in, the lower back is flatter to the floor. Observe the openness of the front ribs. Flow of breath. That little supported back bend, such a beautiful posture. You can do it anytime you feel like you need that little boost to your energy, to your lung function and capacity. Great. Now we're going to do a little floor twist. I'm going to turn around so I can see my clock. Ah, lucky I did. We aren't going to do a floor twist. Okay, unless you have time to stay for a little longer for the relaxation, another 10 minutes. If you need to finish your practice in part. Namaste. Mm. All right, if you're staying for Shavasana, let's just very quickly bring the inside edges of the feet together, knees together, and ease the knees down to one side. Use that lovely core awareness to lift the leg. And then ease the knees down to the right side. Core awareness to lift the leg. Enjoying each breath. Good. And then laying your legs out straight for Shavasana. Feel the reactions of the body as you start to give in to the support. Identifying tension and letting go. Giving your weight a little more thoroughly. Face relaxed, throat relaxed. Feeling the flow of each breath. Feel the sensation of your feet and toes rolling out from your ankles. Feel the sensation of your legs, lower legs, knees, thighs, rolling out from your hips. See if there's any more room to let go of muscular tension across the pelvis, back of the pelvis, side, front. Notice pelvic floor, belly, and buttock. Your lower back, your middle back. Between your shoulder blades, between your shoulders. The back of your ribs, sides of the ribs, and the armpit. front of the ribs, shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, thumbs, palms, backs of the hands and fingers, back of your neck and your throat, base of your skull, scalp, forehead. Feel the weight of your brain resting towards the back of the skull. The weight of your eyes resting towards the back of the socket. Feel the skin of your face around your nose, around your mouth, your lips, tongue, your jaw. Feel the weight of your jaw. Bring your focus now to your ears, folds of skin, and the feeling of the membrane in the ear. Feeling sound as vibration. Tuning inward to hear the breath. Breath by breath. Feel yourself laying still. Start to gently move your hands and your feet. Feeling the transition of moving from stillness to movement. Bending in your arm and your leg and rolling to your side. When you're ready, come up and have a seat. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Take the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.